Welcome to my channel BBC Rare Coins. Today, we're not just flipping coins, we're uncovering hidden American treasure. This is the Washington Quarter like you've never seen it before. Top 1. In 1965, something happened at the U.S. Mint that should never have happened. A decision had just been made to stop producing circulating coins in silver. Rising silver prices and massive demand for coins had forced the government to replace precious metal with a cheaper, layered copper-nickel composition. This was the end of an era. The silver age of American coinage was officially over. The new quarter-dollar coin would look almost identical, but its composition would be completely different. No more 90% silver. No more ringing sound of real metal. No more intrinsic value. But then came the mistake that a small handful of quarters were struck in 1965. Not on the new copper-nickel clad blanks, but on leftover silver planchets from 1964. It was never supposed to happen. The mint was supposed to destroy or melt down the remaining silver blanks. But somehow, maybe just a few, maybe only one, slipped through. A silver quarter with the date 1965. In theory, impossible. In reality, breathtaking. One of these quarters would later surface. Certified by one of the most respected grading agencies in the world. Not only was it real, it was in exceptional condition. And it stunned the collecting world. Because in a moment where number 1965 quarter was supposed to contain even a grain of silver, here was a relic from the past. A silver coin that refused to disappear. And when it went to auction, collectors didn't blink. The hammer fell at $69,000. Yes, 69,000 US dollars. For a coin that looks like every other quarter from a distance. For a 25-cent piece you could mistake for pocket change. But it wasn't just a coin. It was history misprinted in silver. It was a government error, pure, rare, and beautiful. This wasn't just a mint error. This was a transition error. One of the most significant in all of U.S. coinage. An artifact that slipped through the machinery of bureaucracy and time. That single coin tells the story of a change in American money. A change driven by economy, inflation, and necessity. Today, collectors across the country weigh their 1965 quarters. They inspect the edges for the telltale copper core. They listen for the silver ring. Most find nothing. But a lucky few, a rare few, hold something different. The silver 1965 Washington quarter weighs 6.25 grams, like the silver quarters before it. A regular 1965 clad quarter weighs just 5.67 grams. That difference in weight tells the truth. And the edge of the coin, solid silver, no trace of copper, is another clue. Most people never notice. They spend them without thinking. But to a trained eye, to a collector who knows what to look for, that tiny detail means everything. That it's hard to believe a coin made in mass production could be worth more than a luxury watch, more than a down payment on a house, more than years of savings for some people. But it is, because rarity isn't about gold or diamonds. It's about survival. It's about mistakes that shouldn't exist and stories no machine can replicate. The 1965 silver Washington quarter is more than just a rare coin. It's a mystery, a myth, a legend confirmed by the weight of silver and the hammer of an auctioneer. A coin that traveled through time and defied expectation. How many are still out there? Nobody knows. Maybe a few, maybe none. Or maybe one is sitting in your pocket right now, buried in a jar of change, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to listen for, what to look for, what to believe in. Because sometimes, the most valuable things are the ones that look the most ordinary. This is not just a quarter. This is not just a mistake. This is the $69,000 silver 1965 Washington quarter. And it is one of the most valuable coins in American history. Top 2. A year lost in time for most. Nixon was president. Gas was 55 cents a gallon. Vietnam still raged. America was changing. But inside the walls of the U.S. Mint, something else happened, something small, unnoticeable to the millions of people who would carry it in their hands, but legendary to the few who would recognize it. The Washington quarter. Standard, common, taken for granted. One of the most circulated coins in U.S. history. Millions produced, passed from person to person, year after year. But one quarter from 1972 wasn't like the others. It looked the same. Same size, same face. Same eagle on the back. Same weight, almost. But it held a secret. A quiet, invisible detail that made it one of the rarest and most expensive Washington quarters ever known. Minted with a mistake so precise, so rare, that even expert collectors took years to accept its existence. This wasn't your average mint error. This was something far more valuable. A coin struck on a planchet it wasn't meant for. A wrong metal, a wrong composition, or a double die, or a misplaced mint mark, or a mechanical failure frozen in time. Something was off, and that tiny, perfect flaw transformed this 25-cent piece into a coin worth $63,000. Yes, $63,000. For a quarter from 1972. Not gold, not silver, not covered in diamonds. Just metal, just history, just one of a kind. It was found by accident. That's the part nobody expects. Someone like you, a regular person, pulling change from their pocket, flipping through old coins, feeling the weight, looking closer. That's how these things happen. Rare coins don't announce themselves. They hide in plain sight. They pass through vending machines, laundromats, coffee counters, until someone sees what others don't. The 1972 quarter that changed everything was authenticated, verified, slabbed, graded. And when it went to auction, jaws dropped. Whispers spread through the numismatic community. This wasn't supposed to exist, but it did. And now everyone wanted one. Collectors began hunting 1972 quarters, searching for doubling in the letters, in the word liberty, in the date, looking for the shadow of a second image, the fingerprints of a minting error, weighing the coin for a wrong planchet, checking the edges for a silver shine where copper should be. The hunt was on, because one 25-cent coin had sold for more than most Americans make in a year. But what makes a coin like this so valuable? Not just rarity, not just age. It's the combination of factors: condition, minting flaw, historical significance, and survival. Most errors are destroyed before they leave the mint. Quality control, inspection, regulations. But sometimes, against all odds, one escapes. One coin passes through unnoticed. That's what happened in 1972. And that's what made this quarter a legend. It's the kind of story that makes people dig through drawers, crack open piggy banks, flip through their old coin jars. It's the reason metal detectors buzz with hope. Because these coins are real. They're out there, waiting, lost in circulation, forgotten, until someone looks just a little closer. This isn't just about coins. This is about the thrill of discovery. The idea that something ordinary can be extraordinary. That something worthless to one person can be life-changing to another. A single quarter, 25 cents. One mistake in metal, one accident in minting, and now it's worth more than a car. More than a luxury vacation. More than years of rent. It's a reminder that value isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's quiet. Sometimes, it sits in the dark corners of history, waiting to be seen. The 1972 Washington quarter, the one that sold for $63,000, is not just a coin. It's a symbol of what can happen when rarity meets the right eyes, at the right time, in the right hands. So check your change. Look again. Because somewhere out there, in someone's old coffee can, in a forgotten piggy bank, in the cracks of a car seat, another one might be waiting. And the next $63,000 coin could be yours. Top 3. The Washington quarter. A coin everyone's seen. A coin millions touch every day. But in 1980, one of these quarters would become something else, something worth not 25 cents, but $56,000. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't hype. This is fact. A single 1980 Washington quarter, struck with an error so rare, so unusual, that it broke through the noise of everyday currency and stunned collectors worldwide. It looks normal. It feels ordinary. You wouldn't think twice if it passed through your hands. But hiding in the details, in the rim, the strike, the weight, the texture, the shine, is something different. Something historic. This coin, this 1980 quarter, wasn't supposed to survive. It was minted with a flaw, a minting error that turned it into a treasure. Some say it was struck on the wrong planchet, a foreign blank, maybe meant for another denomination or country. Others say the die used was misaligned, causing a rare off-center strike or double image. Maybe the mint mark was misplaced. Maybe it was struck without one at all. Whatever the cause, the result was the same: rarity, confusion, disbelief, and value. A coin that should have been destroyed at the mint. But it wasn't. It escaped. It entered the world. It passed through hands, lived in pockets, slipped into jars. Until someone with eyes to see, recognized the truth. The quarter was authenticated, graded, certified. And when it hit the auction block, collectors came from everywhere. Some had chased this myth for years. Others had only heard whispers. But when the gavel came down, the room went silent. $56,000 for a coin worth a quarter. That's the power of the rarest mistakes. That's the beauty of the unseen. That's what turns everyday money into legendary artifacts. It's not gold. It's not platinum. It's not covered in jewels. It's copper nickel. Common materials made uncommon by a single moment in the myth. A second of error. A flash of chance. A flaw that became fortune. There are collectors now who search endlessly for another. People weighing every 1980 quarter they find. Checking the edge for signs of a different metal. Looking for the slightest shift in design. The tiniest misprint. That subtle anomaly that separates the 25-cent coin from the $56,000 legend. Most will never find it. Most won't look. They'll spend their quarters on coffee, on gas, on parking meters. Never knowing. Never guessing. But a few will dig deeper. They'll search their change. Their grandparents' jars. The old boxes in the attic. The dusty piles at flea markets. Because they know the truth. The next fortune doesn't look like a diamond. It doesn't shine like gold. It clinks like pocket change. It hides in plain sight. And it waits. This 1980 Washington quarter didn't need to be fancy. It didn't need to be made of silver. It didn't need anything more than a perfect imperfection, a rare strike, a wrong blank, a missing ghost frozen in metal. And that mistake? That invisible flaw? That's what made it priceless. $56,000. That's what someone paid. That's what history demanded. That's what a coin, just one out of millions, became worth. So ask yourself, how many 1,980 quarters have you spent without a second thought? How many are still out there? Forgotten. Waiting. One coin. One flaw. One life-changing moment. This is not a story about money. This is a story about mystery. About odds defied. About ordinary things becoming extraordinary. This is the most valuable 1980 Washington quarter ever known. And it may not be the last.